Alright, what's going on? Welcome back to the Musa Gaming here, and today we're back with another episode of account coaching series featuring Johnny's account. Now, Johnny here, otherwise known as in the in-game name of Blueflame, a long-time fan of mine, and he has actually requested me to take a look at his account. I think when he just entered KvK1, and I actually suggested a long time ago that I was like, hey, Johnny, there's not really much that I can actually provide suggestions on, but just please come back to me after KvK1, I believe that's what I said. And see like where you're at in terms of the progress, and then I can give you a little bit more suggestions from there onward. And Johnny here actually took that advice, came back after KvK1. And yeah, there's a lot of things that I do want to talk to you about on this account. And I'm very actually surprised how well he was able to manage this account, given the assumed budget that he has on this account, which is pretty much very, very low. But yep, without further ado, let's just go ahead and get started on Johnny's account or Blue Flame's account. Now, just right off the bat, profile picture, we got 18.7 million power. That is about where you'll be if you're actually about mid-tech of T4, which this account is. And he's sitting at 23 million kill points, and he's, for your reference, just entering KvK2 as far as what I know. But yeah, so that's basically what we can gather from the profile. And as you can see, ooh, VIP 10. Again, this is a low spender account, so it is completely understandable that you're in VIP 10. But obviously that will be a little bit of a flaw for the account. I took a look at it though, and I think the trade-off that he did take in place of VIP 10 though does make sense. So we're gonna go ahead and slide through other slides and make sure that and find out why that actually is the case, where he actually stayed in VIP 10 instead of leveling up to VIP 12 or even VIP 14. I'm assuming VIP 14 was not possible for his budget at this moment for KvK2, but hey, VIP 10, understandable as a low budget account. Let's just go ahead and move on, guys. And yep, this is how the power breakdown looks like. In terms of deaths, he did incur about 587,000 deaths, which I think is pretty impressive for his power. But aside from that, nothing too crazy going on here. He did gather 1.8 billion resources. And he's sitting on 66 days of universal speedups, 24 days of research speedups, 13 days of training speedups, and 23 days of building speedups. Very nice. And he did share with me the technology, as he actually was a little bit concerned about where he is at with the technology. As you guys can see, the T4 cavalry tech, as he's a cavalry main right now, is currently sitting at 5 out of 10 and then 9 out of 10 for plate armor. And he's currently on the small 3, the lower the before 3, that gives a universal troop health. I think it's called herbal medicine. I don't know which level it is, but we'll go ahead and find out. And he has not actually touched medical corpse though, so that means that he does not really have any of the big 3 touched up right now, which I think will be a good improvement for his marches as well as his performance on the field. Now, going on to the next page, yeah, as you guys can see, the page before, we have small 3. Interesting choices though. He did put a lot of emphasis on defense, as he had put defensive formation to level 9, which is something that I generally don't recommend, as you get actually a lot more attack and defense from the tier 4 technology. And what you also notice is that he actually almost maxed out plate armor. Actually, that is maxed out because he doesn't have Academy level 25. So yeah, he did max out plate armor as well as defensive formation. So this guy does love defense a lot. But generally speaking, in terms of like universally what is more true for the game, you should actually try to level up herbal medicine as well as medical corpse first before you actually max out defense, mainly because there's more places that you can get attack and defense versus health, right? For example, this one, we have health from small 3 and big 3 only, whereas there's 3 different places that you can actually get attack and defense, which is combat tactics, defensive formation, stirrups, plate armor, and then whatever is right here and right here, that gives you universal attack and defense. Also, at the same time, you can get a lot more attack and defense from the earlier part of the tree when you unlock T1 and T2 and T3. So, yeah, generally speaking, going after health is really, really good. But otherwise, the fact that you have defensive formation to level 9 is really, really good. And yeah, combat tactics level 5, herbal medicine level 5, that's fine. And I think you have the right idea because you are actually leveling up herbal medicine over other things. So that's really, really good. And it is really good that you have spread it out. Some of those investment, you level 5, the combat tactics, herbal medicine, and then stirrups. The only thing that I'm still in question of is like, why did you focus too much on defense? But I think this is pretty good. A good place where you can start off in terms of technology. In terms of his commander, he is currently running Minamoto, and he's running half purple gear, half blue gear / green gear. I think honestly this is almost as good as a purple gear. So yeah, so pretty good setup without any legendary equipments. But yeah, this is probably as good of a budget setup looks like in the game. So yep, that's basically what it is. And he did share with me some information as he was sharing all those slides with me. He said this is it for KvK2. I am planning to run Minamoto and Expertise YSG. So remember, guys, we were looking at VIP 10 account, but Johnny here actually traded off Expertise YSG instead of pushing out VIP points, which I think is probably the only acceptable situation where you can actually prioritize Expertise YSG over VIP points. Yeah, usually I would say start trying to push at least up to VIP 12 because there's a huge difference between VIP 10 and 12. But in this case, because he does have Expertise YSG, I think whatever choice that Johnny made in terms of his investment was, I think, wiser because if he didn't have Expertise YSG for KvK1 and KvK2, it'll be really, really difficult for him to actually get him later down the road. Especially when he gets to KvK3 and onward, you try to look at maybe perhaps investing and swapping into Qin Shi Huang. If you don't have Expertise YSG, I think that's a little bit of a GG nowadays in Rising Kingdoms. So I think getting Expertise YSG was a smart idea. The fact that he was able to get YSG Expertise is really, really good. As VIP 10, now he just needs to catch up in terms of VIP points for his VIP 12, VIP 11, 12, and then eventually into 14. Now he said, my short-term goal is to work on my tech because it is lacking in my opinion, which I'll go ahead and give you a very intensive guideline for tech. And long-term goal is I want to run 2 cavalry marches, 1 infantry, 1 archer, 1 siege, which is good. Good the fact that you actually are open to running siege march, which is really good nowadays on the field. And also, I will switch my double C for Qin Shi Huang, which is at 5441, which is good because Qin Shi Huang does work at 5551 or even 5515, which is what I recommend. But either way, Qin Shi Huang does work at lower level tiers because of how powerful he is. So I think that's good. You can slowly work on your double C or gold head so that you can actually expertise Qin Shi Huang eventually. Before my KvK2 starts, I will craft Ash of the Dawn with 3 iconic crystals. Okay, so you will have 3 iconic crystals saved up. That is good. And I'm lacking armaments, but I do have 12 legendary formation choice chests. And he's saving them for the new formation if it is good. That is absolutely fantastic that he's actually saving for new formations. And he has 83 gold tests. So overall, I feel like Johnny was able to actually, carry out his account, despite the fact that he's very low budget. It looks like pretty well for the budget size that he actually has. And yeah, I would say I am very impressed that he has expertise YSG and all that stuff. So And the fact that he made that trade-off, knowing that VIP 12 is actually very, very important, is actually really, really good. So good, good. All right, and then I did ask, hey, YSG, yeah, where is your YSG at the moment? And he said, I'm using Mina with YSG as secondary to YSG. YSG is max 5511 F12 Mina. I actually did not read the first paragraph too well. So I did ask, hey, do you have YSG expertise? Because I didn't really see him in this screenshot. So my apologies for that, Johnny. But the reason why I included this screenshot is because I wanted to know where his Mina was. He is running Minamoto at 5512, which is okay. 5512 Minamoto is okay, unless you're going to go expertise in, which is going to cost you a lot of money. 5512 is a very budget way to run Minamoto, so that's good. And eventually you're gonna have to, abandon Minamoto anyways after KvK2. So might as well just run it in a budgetary situation that fits you the best, in my opinion, right? And yep, he has YSG expertise, and he has 100 extra gold head right now, so that's good. That's why his VIP is so behind. That's what he said, right? So, like I said, he did make the trade off of VIP versus YSG, knowing that YSG is a little bit more important than having VIP, which I think is the right choice because at the end of the day, you want to hit VIP 12 as soon as possible in the earlier part of the game, only to expertise YSG by the time that you end your KvK1 or by the time that you enter your KvK1 first fight, right? VIP 12, VIP 14, the early game priorities for that is because you want to get YSG expertise, right? So I think that's a good choice in my opinion. And that's what I said. Honestly, a good choice. And initial assessment of this account. So pros, I have a lot of good pros actually on this account. Despite the fact that this is a low budget account, the direction is really, really good. Very efficient given the budget level, like I said before. And YSG expertise is a huge, huge advantage for a low budget account. Again, I have a farm that has expertise. What's this called? Huang. But I cannot run him really, really effectively because I don't have YSG expertise on that account. And I have YSG, I think I have 5511. And at that point, it is really, really difficult for you to go back to YSG and even get the daily bundles for him. So the fact that you have YSG expertise is good. It is great for KvK1 and 2, and then expertise for seasonal conquest, and then into seasonal conquest, which is really, really good. Now, decent swap plan for so far. Given the account's budget, again, 5441 double C is good. It's actually going to convert to 5551 eventually into Qinxuang, given that you have some gold heads. And that's totally fine for you to start off season KvK 3 / seasonal conquest, I think. So that's really a good plan in my opinion. And your open mind, do. I have the Hongdae guy, the famous Hongdae guy here for the meme. You're very open minded on the trip choice. Given the fact that you are currently considering swapping to Qin Huang, although that you're actually currently maining cavalry, which is really good, and also at the same time, willingness to actually run siege march despite being a cav main is absolutely good. Some people are just not willing to run siege. They refuse. They hate siege. But nowadays in Rise of Kingdoms, I think being open minded about trying out different siege march, archer march, and all that stuff is gonna really help you at the end of the day in the long run, in my opinion. And in terms of cons, obviously VIP 10, but he took that knowingly, so it's not as big of a con. But VIP 10 in KvK2 is a little bit of a downside, obviously. Having low VIP points. my apologies. Having low VIP points as low spender with YSG expertise is okay, but the amount of time spent in VIP 10 makes VIP 12 urgent, right? But understandable, 100% understandable. And then tech focus issue. This is a little bit of an issue. It does look like you don't really have a good direction on which tech should be focused on. You focus currently too much on defense stat. on both T4 armor tech as well as defensive formation. But health is the best option in Rising Kingdoms always, due to the T4 tech missing health. Also at the same time, the earlier tech trees that is like prerequisite for you to unlock like T2 and T3, those always only give you attack and defense. So there's very little places that you can actually get health, and that's why tech focus should be more focused on health. And I'll give you a detailed guideline on how you can actually fix that. Now the goals, short-term goal, we're gonna re-optimize your tech, and I'll give you step by step on what you should be focusing on. And I'll go over that verbally as I actually take a look at that slide. And also, we will have equipment order of what you should be building. Given the fact that you currently have not built any legendary equipment yet, and also you're still considering running Qinxiang YSG into KvK2, so I'll give you a exact equipment order that I will personally run. But just take that as more of a side note. This is what I think is the best for you. But yeah, that's what I'll go ahead and suggest. And also long term, you want 5 march, 2 cavalry, 2 infantry, 1 archer, 1 siege. So we'll be providing my suggestion on the order of commanders that you can work on at the end of the day. All right, let's just go ahead and move on to technology optimization. And the most urgent things that you need to optimize for your current technology is 1, making sure you do go beyond big 3, which is actually something that does come after unlocking medical corpse, which I'll go over in a bit. And those technology at lower levels will give you a lot of stats for practically no speed ups at all. So making sure that you actually get to level 5 on those are going to be pretty critical. Also at the same time, getting as much march speed as possible by leveling up cartography as early as possible is what I recommend. As you may already know, KvK1, KvK2, the march speed is so slow. So slow. And having that extra 5% march speed does make a night and day difference in your survivability as well as your ability to chase other people. So having that cartography level 4 is going to be absolutely crucial. And also at the same time, making sure that you do get that extra health that I talked about will be my 3 areas of focus that I'll be actually talking about when I do suggest you those tech optimizations. Now, here is where I'll start off with. Right off the bat, as soon as you're done with the herbal medicine, level 5 to level 6, I'll go ahead and get level 4 cartography as soon as possible, because that 5% march speed, again, is just so crucial for early KvKs, and getting that leveled up is your #1 priority, in my opinion. And then what I'll actually recommend you do is you actually get to medical corps, and then level 5 all 3 of the big 3 medical corps, combat arms, and encampments. And I would actually suggest that you actually make sure that you get level 5 on medical corps first, and then work on your encampment, and then work on your combat arms. You can actually do 1-1-1, 1-1-1, 1-1-1, whatever you like to call, but make sure you do prioritize getting the medical corps to level 5, because that will give you the most amount of, let's say, power up per speed ups. Bang for your buck, basically. And then what I would suggest you do is that you actually go rotate medical corps and herbal medicine all the way up to level 9 for medical corps, and then all the way up to level 10 for herbal medicine, to make sure that you do get as much health as you can possible from this KvK tech. No, not KvK tech, from your academy tech. Now, this is what I'll actually recommend though. Once you get all of that level 9, what I would recommend is that you actually make sure that you get all of the level 10, right? Focus on health, but rotate around between the attack, defense, and health. Now, you already have defense at level 9, so it doesn't really matter. So just go ahead and try to prioritize herbal medicine as much as possible. But also don't forget about combat tactics. Don't let combat tactics sit at level 5 while you're trying to hit herbal medicine to level 9, which is totally fine, but just for getting the most out of your speed ups, I would say just go ahead and try to rotate as much as possible. And then you can actually hit cartography to level 5, which is going to give you the maximum amount of march speed for your academy technology. And then what I'll say is that level 9, all 3 of those, medical corps, oh no, first, and then level 5 encampment, and then level 9 medical corps, combat arms, and encampment, just in rotating order. Again, focus on health, but rotate. And then what I'll say that you do thereafter is actually try to hit level 9 on the stirrups, which is actually right here. You currently don't have that level 9, I believe. Let's see. I think you had it level 5, yeah. Just make sure that you do hit that level 9 after you're done with all the other stuff. You know, you can always, you know, try to level that up every now and then, but what I do recommend is that this is the order that you actually go after so that you can get as much march speed as possible while also getting the maximum value of health, which is the most important stat in Rise of Kingdoms, especially in the early game. Now, equipment order is next, and equipment order with all the plans that you have on focusing on Qinshi and KvK3, I recommend the following. Step 1, try to get a full epic equipments and armaments for Archer. Wait on Asher the Dawn crafting, because Asher the Dawn crafting is important, but it's going to take you a lot of materials, right? So, and also at the same time, you know that you're not going to actually run full cavalry march until you actually have enough gold tests for you to run, gold tests for you to expertise, Achilles or Arthur, right? So there's no point in you actually crafting Asher the Dawn at this point, in my opinion. Rather, I would say running full epic equipments are more important and are going to give you more power because of how strong Qinshi and YSG is. And this is what it says. This is given that KvK3 main march will be Qinshi and YSG, and then even 5551 Qinshi and YSG will be great for KvK3, even with epic equipments. Work on expertising Qinshi Huang and YSG, and run it with YSG for KvK3, then work on cavalry equipment. See the next page for recommended equipments, okay? And then step 2, finish your equipment on cavalry as you repeat KvK4. Now do 10 pulls on egg or dig events every cycle for all parts except for weapons and helmets. Be patient. Now the reason why I do not want you to actually work on your weapon and helmet is because as a low spender, the most difficult part for you to actually the most difficult part of you getting basically equipments finished is the weapon and helmet. It's getting blueprint fragments for your equipments, right? And blueprint fragments are not cheap, right? They will take a lot of gems, but you have so many ways that you have to spend your gems on, especially when you're trying to hit VIP 12 and VIP 14, right? So make sure you get KvK weapon and helmet, and slowly work on all the other parts to make sure that you can get the full legendary equipment setup for KvK for cavalry. And KvK weapon and helmet, eventually as you play through KvK 3, 4, and repeat KvK 3 and 4, you repeat KvK 4, sorry, not 3. Repeat KvK 4, you eventually get a lot of conquest coins. If you win KvK, you get 1. You just need 2 of those, right? So yeah, I would say that will be my suggestion. And then get Horn and Ring from the KvK coins. So conquest coins, don't think about getting 8 conquest coin city skins. Those are not worth it. Just make sure you get KvK weapon and KvK helmet, and then work on getting other things that you need from your conquest coins is my recommendation. And then from KvK coins, the most important thing that you can get with KvK coins, which is the coin that you get from upgrading your crystal tech, is actually Horn and then Ring. So Horn and Ring should be your number 1 and number 2 priority as you enter Season of Conquest. And in terms of equipment priority for Archer, again, given the openness that you have on Chishiwa and YSG, epic set you should craft him should be your first priority, while you gather blueprint fragments for your cavalries throughout your KvK2 to KvK4. Now, revival set should be relatively easy to get. In terms of blueprints, obviously all relative terms compared to legendary pieces. And running Call the Loyal is great. This is something that you can get every KvK that you play. for Qin especially because that speed up is going to help you run away from big spenders with T5 troops, right? And that march speed advantage will actually help you save the day at the end of the day. And the flame turret, obviously a really good piece that gives you a lot of health. Golden Age also at the same time, aside from the 4-piece revival set, should be really good for you to actually just get your archer started at the end of the day. And then work on your cavalry, which whatever you have is fine as you actually work on your archer setup. Just don't touch your cavalry, I'll say. And then convert straight from the current set to the cavalry legendary full sets. And these are my recommended suggestions in terms of order in which that you should prioritize on. Chest piece is number one because it gives you a lot of health, and also at the same time it actually gives you a better stat slot than anything else. Booster next. Booster actually really good. Boost actually give you attack to health skin health change, which is actually really good. The reason why this is actually more important, these two are actually a little bit more important than the Ashlydown and Navarre's control. It's simple, it's because they're actually a little bit more difficult for you to get. So I want you to prioritize getting those from Egg Event, Dig Event, instead of Ashlydown and Navarre's control, which is going to be acquirable through, I think, Lucifer's Scroll. So yeah, so that's what I suggest in terms of what you should get on the daily basis. And as you enter Season of Conquest, Horn of Fury is number one priority. Horn of Fury is actually a lot better than having KvK weapon. I repeat, Horn of Fury is a lot better than having KvK weapon. So this is really important. And then Ring of Doom, and then KvK weapon and helmet is my suggestion on what is the priority of the order that you should actually consider when you're actually getting those blueprints. Okay? Now, Commander Corps. So prioritizing Shinshima while Walker and Cav gear while with size siege march is what I recommend. Running Shinshima YSG will actually help you overcome your tech and gear difference between yourself and other people who have spent a lot more money than you did. Given how OP Shinshima and YSG is, use Relic and Museum Coin on YSG to hit Relic level 3, which will give you 12% skill damage buff on top of, I think, like 30% defense or something like that. Absolutely crazy. Just go ahead and focus all your Museum and Relic buffs on YSG, and do not swap out YSG is what I recommend. Cavalry order, once again, Achilles is number one, I think. AoE combo that hits up to 10 targets with instant proc, number one priority, and then Arthur is next. And currently the best pairing for Achilles, but next Cav cycle may have different commander that might work better with Achilles. So make sure you actually stay keep an eye out for cavalry commander cycle release, because Arthur may not be as relevant as he is right now as the best pairing for Achilles, but Achilles is a key for you to actually be I would say run a successful march in the field in Season of Conquest, in my opinion. Now Siege is actually mentioned here. It's a great option for free KP with minimal investment. You know, epic pairing is okay for KvK 3 and 4. And just give Gathering Gear craftable with bones only, which is really cost effective, I'll say. You know, you have those bones laying around anyway, so just go ahead and give those, and those will work great on the Siege March, right? And here is what I would actually recommend. So for KvK2, just run Minamoto YSG like you were planning. KvK3, just run Shinshuang and YSG. At the end of the day, in KvK3, you're just gonna basically fight in ruins for most of the time. So Shinshuang YSG, running one march should be fine. And then Commander Order. I personally recommend, if you can actually build an epic pairing, like Catherine de Medici as well as Narcisse, I would suggest that you actually get started on your Siege March right away and see how they perform. And technically speaking, if you like running one archer or one siege, you can technically work on your Siege March, Gaza Mana, and then Gonzalo after you get your one archer march straightened up. But I'm sure that's not really your priority, but I just want to make sure that you do understand that that is actually going to give you a lot more kill points. then your cavalry march until you have your cavalry equipment all set up. And then your march number 2 option is going to be your, Achilles plus the new cavalry commander or Arthur. Now, this is in order of priority, not necessarily in the order of the pairing. So usually, Arthur, Achilles in that order is gonna how you're gonna run it. But then again, Achilles is gonna be your number 1 priority, and then either the next cavalry commander or Arthur is gonna be your next priority, in my opinion. Now, as you build your 3rd march, which is gonna be, I think, infantry, I would say just look at what the next infantry commander looks like and then make a decision. If this commander is super OP, then get this commander instead of, let's say, Liu Che or Bai Chu. Just make sure that this commander goes well with either of them first. Let's say this commander is called Guan Yu 2.0, Sun Tzu Prime. Let's say this commander is Sun Tzu Prime, right? And then if Sun Tzu Prime has some mechanics that makes him go the best pairing for Bai Chu, then get Bai Chu. If Sun Tzu Prime is working best with Liu Che, then get Liu Che. That's how I would actually build your commander pairing for your infantry. And then everything beyond that, I think it's too early to tell. Obviously, if we have the best commander in the game with the next cavalry release, then obviously that might actually change. Okay, well, how would we compare that to, GG Achilles and Arthur Achilles and all that fun stuff? So I'll go and suggest up to here, and then leave that up to your question, up to whatever the next updates actually take place for the Rise of Kingdoms. And feel free to just stop by during my streams and just ask me, hey, like these new commanders came out to the game. I don't know what I should build next after I got myself an epic siege march. Help me, Musa, and I'll obviously be able to help you there whenever you ask those questions, okay? And last but not least, armaments. So armaments, you'll still need Wedge for your immediate use with Qin Shi Huang. Just dispatch with Wedge, Delta, and V formation, which is what I recommend, until you have usable siege gear and usable kind of like siege armaments, I would say, with like ideally triple siege stats on all of them, even if they're blue or epic pieces. Or you can also go after Pincer, but I don't recommend going Pincer at this time, to be honest, because I think the first half of 2026, developers have specified that they're going to actually go after new Smite formation, new Delta formation, and new Wedge formation, right? So yeah, but right now, as you enter KvK2, those are what I would recommend that you actually get started on, and then slowly adjust to all the changes that are coming to the upcoming patches. Now, saving up legendary chests for your current situation is fine. You cannot afford to get all those what's this called, conversion stones wasted just because you have triple stats on 1 or 2 armaments. So I'll say saving up legendary chests, very, very smart idea. And then for your wish list, I just want to kind of remind you that all armaments, you got to make sure you choose in this order. First, I'll personally recommend that you get your instrument first, because instrument is usually, especially lately with Pincer and Delta release, instrument is actually the top right corner. This slot right here actually gives you what is the identity of that formation. For example, we get butterfly effect, which is going to give you a ton of buff for any combo damage using commanders. Same with Pincer. This one gives you, I think, destructive, which will give you a lot of defense reduction. And otherwise, if you only hit like one target, it gets you like some crazy rage generation too. Yeah, absolutely. Instrument is actually nowadays the stronger of the two between instrument and emblem. And then emblem, I'll go ahead and suggest that you get that wishlist changed to emblem once you get your first legendary inscriptions on that instrument. And don't worry about the scroll and banner, which is the top left and then top right, bottom right. Top left, you can get special inscription, inscription ticket or autarch. through Autark, which is acquirable whenever you actually end your KvK, and then the kingdom actually chooses you as a winner of the Autark. Or you can play through 3 KvKs while getting, I think, 10 million kills. And then that will actually guarantee a fragment of Autark, which, regardless of your victory or non-victory, you can actually get 3 of those fragments for you to get the Autark from your KvK as you enter Season of Conquest. So, yeah. With all that said, don't worry about scroll, and then don't worry about banner. Banner, you can actually get 1 golden KvK coin, inscription shard, chest shard, or something like that. And then once you get 180 of those legendary inscriptions, no, not legendary inscriptions, the legendary armaments recycled, you can get 1 of those shards, and then once you get 8 of those, which you'll eventually all get, you'll be able to trade it in for 1 legendary inscription for that slot. So everyone actually get the scroll and banner slot either way. So don't get those in the wish list. Just make sure you get the top right and the top bottom left in that order, because that's going to be the most powerful inscription that you're going to get for your armaments, and then that's going to be the most generally good armaments, which will give you smite damage, 10% smite damage, or 8% combo damage, something like that. That will give you a lot of buff. All right, I think that's what all I have for you today, Johnny. I hope you actually enjoyed today's video, and I hope this video was helpful for you. If you did find this video helpful, please go ahead and drop me a thumbs up. Those of you who are watching this, that is not Johnny, please go ahead and drop me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Once again, Johnny, thank you so much for submitting your stuff to me and also signing up for the membership, the premium membership that I did just update last month, to actually allow people to get all those, not allow people, but that would actually make the account coaching premium. And I didn't know a lot of people were going to sign up for it, but you did. I really appreciate that. And hopefully this video was worth it for you. And feel free to ask any questions if you have any of them in the comment down below, or just reach out to me on Discord. Obviously, Johnny, you have my Discord. So hopefully you have a great rest of your day, for those of you who are watching, and Johnny. And as always, I'll see you all in the next video, guys. Peace!